Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Spokane City Council legislative session of February 22nd, 2021. Ms. Pfister, could you please read the roll?
Council President Biggs.
Here.
Councilmember Burke.
Here.
Councilmember Cathcart.
Present.
Councilmember Kinnear.
Present.
Councilmember Mumm.
Here.
Councilmember Stratton.
Here.
Councilmember Wilkerson.
Present.
Let the record reflect that all council members are present.
All right. We will start actually with a proclamation and then a salutation. And we'll start with the proclamation for the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and Councilmember Cathcart is going to read that, and I believe Angela Miller will say a few words after the reading.
Yeah, thank you, Council President. Whereas Make-A-Wish Alaska and Washington grants the wishes of children with critical illnesses and will celebrate its 35th anniversary in 2021. And whereas since its inception in 1986, the local Spokane chapter has granted wishes to more than 7,500 children. And when a wish is granted, a child replaces fear with confidence, sadness with joy, and anxiety with hope. And whereas the wishes have proven physical and emotional benefits that can give children with critical illnesses a higher chance of survival and transforms the lives of children, their families, volunteers, supporters, medical professionals, and entire communities. Now, therefore, I, Nadine Woodward, Mayor of the City of Spokane, on behalf of the citizens of Spokane, do hereby proclaim February 28, 2021 as Make-A-Wish Alaska and Washington Day. I'll turn it over to Angela to receive the proclamation.
Thank you so much for your support and for having us today. I just wanted to share with you how important the mission is that we are bringing to the kids in our community. We grant wishes to children who are battling life-threatening medical conditions. And there's a long time misconception that we only help children with terminal illnesses, and that is not the case. We are in the business of bringing hope and joy to our children, and many of them will go on to lead long, healthy lives, hopefully. And I've been doing this work for 15 years, and I've seen firsthand the impact that it can have on not only our wish children and their families, but our community as a whole. Because as we know, when you have engaged and philanthropic community members, you have a thriving community. So thank you for supporting us. We could not do the work that we do without the Spokane community. And we are always looking for help. So if anyone wants to learn about becoming a volunteer or supporting us financially, please visit our website at www.wish.org/AKWA.
All right. Thank you, Angela, for all your work and being here tonight. So at this point, we are going to do a salutation in a couple of minutes, but I'm going to have an administration report from Tim Sigler to give us an update on the recent cold weather, freezing temperatures, and how we're doing sheltering and what we have to look forward to as we get another cold snap coming forward. So, Mr. Sigler, if you could unmute yourself and give us your report.
Thank you, Council President and Council members. So as you know, in the last couple of weeks, our regional sheltering system has made some changes due to the cold weather that came. It was about February 9th when we saw that big dip in the weather when we were hitting the teens and even below that. So we worked with our providers and within the CHHS department to mobilize hoteling as an option for when the weather dipped and when the shelter spaces were becoming filled up because of the cold weather. And so we fortunately, through our COC board, we have a coordinated entry process for both single adults, but then also for families. And so we worked with SNAP, who leads the single adults coordinated entry process, and with Catholic Charities, who leads the families coordinated entry process. And we're able to come up with a short-term solution based on the need at that time to work with our partners so they would make referrals through coordinated entry, which is what they normally would do to get somebody that is either sheltered or unsheltered into housing programs. So we worked through that process. SNAP led the efforts and did a great job. The majority of our shelter provider partners came together. We created some email strings so that people were communicating more than what we normally do with our nightly capacity reports, and they were able to use the Ramada Inn successfully, getting in. There was a maximum of 6 or 76 people in the middle of the week, and then as they got into the weekend, the last day we had 34 people that stayed in as single adults. SNAP then worked with partners on creating care packages for those that were leaving. About half of the people left on Friday night, between Friday night and somewhere in the morning. And then the rest of the people that were there, SNAP did make contact with, handed them the care packages, and then asked if they had places to go, whether it was couch surfing or going with family or whatever that might have been. And the people that they spoke to said that they all had a place to go. We looked at our shelter capacity report numbers that night and the following, and they didn't really fluctuate that much. So the process appeared to work. This was our first time doing hoteling in this way. And as we continue to look at the weather moving forward and talking with our partners, we'll be looking at different options in the near future.
Do people have questions for Tim? Councilmember Cathcart.
Yeah, just you feel confident that this next week or 10 days or so, we've got enough capacity to handle those who will want to be out of the cold?
So we look at the numbers every night. We do projections based off of that. And then we are also looking at the weather itself and using hoteling as an option if it's needed. So I'm confident that we will pay close attention and we will continue to work with all of our providers to make sure that there is space available when the cold weather hits.
Thank you.
Other comments, questions? Yeah, so I've already shared this with Tim, but just for other people, that biggest piece that I think we need is a better public-facing outreach of how people get shelter. So we have a really good team from SNAP that does outreach and provides information to people and does assessments and intake. But I think people who don't have phones and aren't as aware and maybe don't traditionally use our shelters don't necessarily have that information. And I know a lot of people contacting us saying, what's the plan? How does someone know that Truth Ministries has a space before they spend 2 miles walking out there? So I know that we do have transportation contracts with some of these providers, and the providers all have a really good sense. But I'm hoping that we'll really kind of get one-stop place on a website that has the status of what's totally green, what's yellow, what's red, and how people get services directly. So I'm just hoping that Tim and I had a really good conversation about that. And I had a conversation with the mayor also. I really think we should have one intake center for people that's recognizable pretty much any time, but especially during cold weather, so that anyone can get them there, and then they can be assessed and triaged and taken to the space, and that way we know. So anyway, but I appreciate staff really being flexible and using the hotel option in these times of COVID. So, and thanks, Tim, for staying late tonight for the meeting. Appreciate it. All right, now I'm really excited. I've been wanting to do this for over a year, and that is I have a salutation for Sandy Williams. And whereas Spokane has been a regional leader in producing strong Black leaders in all industries, from healthcare to politics, journalism to education. And whereas we commemorate these often unsung heroes every February during Black History Month. And whereas Sandy Williams, with her newspaper, The Black Lens, has tirelessly held truth to power by traveling to the front lines of the headlines for the past 6 years. Since 2015, offering Spokane readers an independent voice and news told from the perspective of the African American and other traditionally marginalized communities. And whereas the Black Lens celebrates 6 years of print this January of 2021, delivering news to countless Spokane households and several subscribers across the nation, despite the global pandemic and the national upheaval over racial justice. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Spokane City Council that we hereby recognize and salute Sandy Williams, her contributions to independent journalism and the city of Spokane, giving voice to the stories that we rarely hear, from adding to the rich experience of the tapestry of our Spokane community. I, Brian Beggs, Spokane City Council President, do hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of the city of Spokane to be affixed this 22nd day of February in 2021. Sandy, we love you. We appreciate you. If you have any words of wisdom or any truth to speak to our power, feel free to take a moment.
Thank you very much. I don't know if I have words of wisdom after that, but I just want to say thank you so much. It's been an adventure with the Black Lens over the last 6 years. There's no way in the world that I would have made it this long without support from the Spokane community, particularly during the pandemic. Spokane has turned up and turned out in ways that I did not expect to make sure that the Black Lens was able to keep going forward and to keep reporting news that was important to the Spokane community and particularly to the Black community in Spokane, make sure that our voice was heard. So I'm incredibly grateful and very appreciative that you recognized me today. So thank you very much.
You're so welcome. Thanks for all you do. Keep it up. So many more stories to tell.
You. Thank you very much.
All right. Now let's go to our legislative agenda, starting with special budget ordinances.
Ordinances amending ordinance number C 35971 passed by the City Council December 14, 2020 and entitled an ordinance adopting the annual budget of the City of Spokane for 2021, making appropriations to the various funds of the City of Spokane government for the fiscal year ending December 31, 2021, and providing it shall take effect immediately upon passage and declared an emergency and appropriating funds in Ordinance C 36006, General Fund from Historic Preservation, various accounts, $63,664 to Historic Preservation, various accounts, same amount. This action allows for the reclassification of the vacant planner 1 position to create the Historic Preservation Specialist position.
All right, and we don't have any community comment for that. And just by way of background for any viewers, we deferred this a bit to try to resolve a conflict that we saw in the code. So the Department of Historic Preservation is an authorized department by the City Council by ordinance. Traditionally, it's only had 1 full-time employee plus a project employee. There was another ordinance passed a few years ago that said all departments have to have 3 employees in order to be a city department. And so there was a question of like, oh, what do we do with this situation? But when we looked into the history of it, we saw that the Historic Preservation Department pre-existed the law on new departments. And so we were able to keep our budget commitment on this that we made with the mayor to hire a second full-time person in this position, in an exempt position, as a historic preservation specialist. And the reason we had to do this special budget ordinance is that in the budget, it was listed as a planner as a job description, and that's not really the right description. So all this is doing is changing the job description for a position that was approved. It's not, it itself is not creating a new position or changing anything other than the title. So that's the situation. Are there any council members that would like to comment further on this? Councilmember Wilkerson.
I just want to say I'm excited to see this back before us. If you did not read Sunday's paper and the fascinating article about the Black architect that grew up in that came to Spokane with his family, that came out of the Historical Preservation Society from the city. That's where that lead came from. So it's not just only our culture, it's also economic development. So I'm excited to see the department grow and expand and what it can bring to our city in its richness.
Any other commentary? Okay, then we'll have a roll call vote. Councilmember Mumm.
Aye.
Councilmember Stratton.
Aye.
Councilmember Kinnear.
Aye.
Council President's an aye. Councilmember Burke.
Aye.
Councilmember Cathcart.
Hey.
Councilmember Wilkerson.
Aye.
All right, I counted 6-1 on that. That passes. And that leads us to another special budget ordinance.
Ordinance C 36015, Human Services Grants Fund from ESG-CV Commerce, $3,191,727 to ESG-CV Commerce, various accounts, same amount. This action provides funding to prevent, prepare for, and respond to the coronavirus pandemic among individuals and families who are homeless or receiving homeless assistance, and to support additional homeless assistance and homelessness prevention activities to mitigate the impacts of COVID-19.
Okay, and we have at least one person signed up to testify, and that's going to be Nicolette Ockelstree. I am noticing that we had Curtis Hampton sign up, but I don't see what he signed up for. So after Ms. Ockeltree, I might ask you, Mr. Hampton, if you're there to tell us if you were hoping to testify for something. But Nicolette, if you're there, if you can hit *3. All right, Nicolette, I believe we have you. Go ahead and introduce yourself. You have up to 3 minutes.
Hi, this is Nicolette. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. It's hard for me because I am very grateful for what staff does do to make sure that funds are available to address this convergence of crises that we have. But it gets more and more difficult every time I speak to be grateful about all those things and not talk about the elephant in the room, which is the sort of massive failure across the board to truly plan and stick with a good plan or create a better plan if it isn't working. The housing crisis, the crisis of homelessness in our community was part of a comprehensive plan back in the day that from 2015 to 2020 was supposed to be solved. And I think that since that failure occurred, there's just been a scramble to try to do what we can with what we have, and no really sustainable options have been made available. And I really think that that's something we desperately need to look at. And again, I'm absolutely grateful for the hotel rooms, for example, that were made available to houseless citizens during the cold time over the last couple of weeks. But this is not a sustainable model. It really isn't. And it's a sign, if nothing else, that we are desperate for a concrete plan. Winter comes every year. Yes, the pandemic doesn't come every year, but winter does come every year. And the people who suffer the most just horrible bodily injuries and psychological traumas from having to figure out a place to stay so that they don't die on the streets. So I hope that moving forward, we can actually create a concrete plan for next winter or even this summer, because it's approaching quickly, because we cannot scramble and hemorrhage funds trying to just throw money at the problem. And really what it needs is really good concrete planning. So thank you for what you've done, and I hope that moving forward that we're able to focus on a more sustainable plan for our citizens. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicolette. And Mr. Hampton, if you want to hit *3 and tell us what you want to testify on, we just don't have a record of it the way that the sign-up worked. Okay, we're not seeing that. So we have some other, is that you, Curtis?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, it is.
On the sign up, we couldn't figure out what you wanted to testify, so I just wanted to find out which ordinance or whether it was open forum that you wanted to testify at.
On the sign-up, we couldn't figure out what you want to testify, so I just wanted to find out which ordinance or whether it was open forum that you wanted to testify at.
Okay, I apologize for the technical difficulties on my part, but open forum if I could, please.
Okay, we'll put you on there. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, you can hang up now. All right, now let's turn to, we have some ordinances and a resolution.
Need to vote on this one.
Oh, we didn't vote on it? Sorry. Thank you. I distracted myself. Any council commentary about this special budget ordinance accepting this slightly over $3 million for human services grants? Okay. Then we'll have a roll call. Councilmember Mumm.
Aye.
Councilmember Stratton.
Aye.
Councilmember Kinnear.
Aye.
Council President Tanai. Councilmember Burke.
Aye.
Councilmember Cathcart.
We may have lost him.
Oh, Councilmember.
Sorry, aye.
Okay, Councilmember Wilkerson.
Aye.
All right, that passes 7-0. And now we have some regular ordinances and a resolution.
Would you like me to read resolution number 2021-15, which is the,
Sure.
okay. Resolution number 2021-0015, I will read in its entirety. A resolution ratifying the mayor's February 18, 2021 executive declaration of civil emergency or disaster. Whereas on February 18, 2021, Mayor Nadine Woodward issued an executive declaration of civil emergency or disaster in the city of Spokane. Hereafter, the declaration pursuant to SMC 2.04.030 due to the public emergency faced by the city from a hillside in the Peaceful Valley neighborhood, which has become unstable. And whereas from the time of its discovery in late January, this hillside has torn its natural slope, resulting in material from the hillside moving downhill, which threatens to topple the rock retaining wall at the base of the slope, and which would in turn accelerate additional sliding. And whereas several trees and power poles have already fallen in and around this area, with additional vegetation and utilities threatened if there is further sliding of the hillside. And whereas Clark Avenue, which is the primary east-west access for ingress and egress in Peaceful Valley, is blocked off, which creates access issues for the residents of the area and presents a health and safety risk to residents as the obstruction restricts access for emergency vehicles and public transit. And whereas further movement of this hillside could cause soil further uphill to shift, which could undermine the foundations of a number of structures fronting on Riverside Avenue. And whereas a number of activities must occur to restore public health and safety to and for the residents of the city, including but not limited to: 1, importation of filled dirt to stabilize felling wall and slow landslide movement; 2, the use of heavy equipment with an operator to place imported filled dirt and build an access ramp onto the hillside for equipment access; 3, the removal and disposal of trees and debris from the hillside area which was affected by the landslide; 4, design services to abate further landslide risk; 5, construction of an engineered solution likely to include a soldier pile wall and tiebacks; 6, replacement of a retaining wall as the base of the hill in the city right-of-way; and 7, staff costs associated with hillside monitoring, coordination with contractors and private utilities, supportive design and construction management. Whereas in order to prevent further damage and danger to residents of the city, it is imperative to begin the work as quickly as possible, which will require the execution of contracts. And whereas an emergency exists that necessitates utilization of the emergency powers granted pursuant to RCW 38.52 and/or 35A.33. And whereas the city of Spokane has the authority pursuant to RCW 35A.080 to make expenditures for emergencies requiring the immediate preservation of order or public health, or for the restoration to a condition of usefulness of any public property which has been damaged or destroyed by accident, or for public relief from calamity. And whereas the city of Spokane has the authority pursuant to RCW 38.52.100 sub A to make appropriations to for the ordinary expenses of the city for the payment of expenses of its local organizations for emergency management. Now therefore be it resolved by the Spokane City Council, Section 1, as a result of the landslide event and the impact to the public health, safety, and welfare, there is a present disaster or civil emergency which necessitates the utilization of emergency powers granted pursuant to Chapter 2.04 SMC, SMC 7.06.180, and RCW 38.52.070 sub 2, which are lawful, proper, and reasonable exercises of the City of Spokane's police power, consistent with state law and the city charter. Section 2, the Executive Declaration of Civil Emergency or Disaster by Mayor Nadine Woodward, dated and effective February 18, 2021, is hereby ratified by the City Council by this resolution. Section 3, notwithstanding the Executive Declaration of Civil Emergency or Disaster, the City Council reserves its full authority under the City Charter to take any and all necessary steps to safeguard the public health, safety, and welfare of all residents of Spokane, including, without limitation, any necessary measures to mitigate the effects of economic disruption in connection with the disaster or civil emergency, and prioritization of the use of funds or resources received from the state and/or federal governments. Section 4, the civil emergency shall continue until terminated by the mayor or by City Council resolution. Section 5, a copy of this resolution and the Executive Declaration of Civil Emergency or Disaster shall be delivered to the Governor of the State of Washington and to the Spokane County Board of Commissioners. To the extent practicable, a copy of this resolution and the declaration shall be made available to all news media within the city and to the general public in order to give the widest dissemination of this resolution and the declaration to the public, as many other available means may be used as are practical.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We don't have any public comment, and just to clarify some questions that I've had, it's far cheaper to address this before it gets worse, and also this resolution approving the emergency declaration does not interfere with the city's ability to seek reimbursement either from FEMA or from any responsible parties of other landowners that aren't in the public right-of-way. But this just means we can make it safer and prevent further damage. Is there any council commentary? Yes, Councilmember Ramon.
Yes, I'll support this, and I think it's important for us to remember that there's a really good reason to strengthen our geohazardous areas policies, our critical area policies, and steep slopes, because we have a lot of this around the community, and this is what can happen when we have either a natural event or, we take all the trees out of a steep slope. It just doesn't hold up the hillside. So I'm hoping we can continue to do that as a city. We have a lot of these areas, and, as we have these climate events, I think that this is just going to be the beginning.
Any other commentary? All right, we'll have a roll call. Councilmember Mumm.
Aye.
Councilmember Stratton.
Aye.
Councilmember Kinnear.
Aye.
Council President Sinai. Councilmember Burke.
Aye.
Councilmember Cathcart.
Aye.
Councilmember Wilkerson.
Aye.
Okay, that passes 7-0. We have some more ordinances.
Ordinance C 36008 relating to the creation of an emergency rental assistance fund, adopting a new section 7.08.154 to chapter 7.08 of the Spokane Municipal Code.
All right, we have one community member to testify in this, Nicolette Ochiltree. If you'd like to hit star 3. All right, Nicolette, I believe we have you if you want to introduce yourself, and you have up to 3 minutes.
Hello, I'm Nicolette Ochiltree. I am obviously in favor of this ordinance relating to the creation of an emergency rental assistance fund. It is desperately needed here in Spokane. This fund will hopefully be an essential tool for addressing Spokane's housing crisis, the dangers of which have escalated during the pandemic. With such a high percentage of renters and such a small vacancy rate, those who are struggling to pay rent can't even move to a cheaper place if they want to. They're trapped in rentals they can't afford with no real legitimate options on the table. It's too expensive to move. It's too expensive to stay. It's too expensive to live. Folks are considered rent burdened when they pay 30% or more of their income on rent. But the harsh reality is many of these folks pay much more than that. The low supply of rentals caused skyrocketing rental prices in Spokane well before the pandemic even hit. And there's nothing folks can really do. Again, it's too expensive to move. It's too expensive to stay. It's too expensive to live. When COVID eviction moratoriums are lifted, we will likely see a significant number of folks being evicted. And hopefully this fund will help prevent the devastating effects that could otherwise have on our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ochiltree. Any council commentary? All right. Essentially, just for the viewers, this sets up the fund, and we're anticipating filling the fund with several $1 million in federal aid that's coming our way. And the details of how to distribute that are still being worked out between council and the administration, but we hope to be able to announce that in the next few weeks. Let's have a roll call. Councilmember Mumm.
Aye.
Councilmember Stratton.
Aye.
Councilmember Kinnear.
Aye.
Council President Sinai. Councilmember Burke.
Aye.
Councilmember Cathcart.
Aye.
Councilmember Wilkerson.
Aye.
All right, that passes 7-0. I believe we deferred ordinance 36009 earlier today for a week. So you can go to the next ordinance.
Ordinance C 36010, amending Ordinance C 22392, vacating Concord Street from a point 270 feet south of the south line of 16th Avenue, City and County of Spokane, Washington, to release unnecessary easements that encumber property.
We don't have any community commentary on this. Any council commentary? Hearing and seeing none, we'll have a roll call. Councilmember Mumm.
Aye.
Councilmember Stratton.
Aye.
Councilmember Kinnear.
Aye.
Council President Sinai. Councilmember Burke.
Aye.
Councilmember Cathcart.
Aye.
Councilmember Wilkerson.
Aye.
Okay, that passes 7-0. We have one more final reading ordinance.
Ordinance C 36011, amending Ordinance C 22393, vacating Concord Street from a point 270 feet south of the south line of 16th Avenue to the north line of 17th Avenue, and of 17th Avenue from the easterly right-of-way line of the Burlington Northern Incorporated, formerly Spokane, Portland, and Seattle Railway, to the westerly right-of-way line of the Union Pacific Railroad, formerly the Oregon Washington Railway and Navigation Company, City and County of Spokane, Washington, to release unnecessary easements that encumber property.
Again, there's no community commentary. Any council commentary? Seeing and hearing none, we'll have a roll call. Councilmember Mumm.
Aye.
Councilmember Stratton.
Aye.
Councilmember Kinnear.
Aye.
Council President Sinai. Councilmember Burke.
Aye.
Councilmember Cathcart.
Aye.
Councilmember Wilkerson.
Aye.
All right, that passes 7-0. We're going to go to first reading ordinances, and nobody signed up for it this time, but just as a reminder, as we adjust to the new council rules, community members are encouraged, if they want to sign up to testify for first reading ordinances in addition to final ordinances. Keep track of those agendas, and if there's something you want to talk about a week before we pass it, well, there's still a chance to really amend it. That's a good strategy. But go ahead and read tonight's.
Ordinance C 36013, amending Ordinance C 31697 that vacated Medelia Street from the north line of Fairview Avenue to Euclid Avenue, except North Foothills Drive, and the alley between Medelia Street and Pittsburgh Street from Fairview Avenue to Euclid Avenue, except North Foothills Drive. Further action is deferred on the first reading ordinance.
All right, that brings us to the end of ordinances and resolutions. We do have open forum. We have 3 people signed up. In order of appearance, Nicolette Ochiltree, Andrea Rose Gallardo, and Curtis Hampton. And just a reminder, if you're watching, we have a pretty significant delay. So you want to be on the phone so that you'll hear your name when I call your name, and you can hit *3. But with that said, Nicolette Ochiltree, if you want to hit *3. All right, welcome again, Nicolette. If you want to announce yourself, you have up to 3 minutes.
Hello again, it's Nicolette Ochiltree. I'm going to try to be brief since you've heard a lot from me tonight. I just wanted to address a few things. One is that the mosquito devices are still being used. Obviously, this is in violation of the Spokane Municipal Code, and you guys worked so hard, especially Councilwoman Kate Burke, to make sure that that was passed, and yet it's not being enforced. And it's really devastating that you can't even drive down Division at night without hearing the one that's over behind the Jewelry Design Center. It's terrible. And you can't go downtown near the police department without hearing the one right outside the police department's building. So if you guys could do something to address that, or maybe get with me over email to let me know how I should file a formal complaint, because obviously me talking to you guys hasn't changed anything. So the other thing I wanted to address briefly was that I'm very grateful that the police made an arrest for the hate crime against the Temple Bethel Church or synagogue. The Nazi graffiti was absolutely disgusting, and just as suspected, it was a member of the same Nazi crew that has shown up to Black Lives Matter protests, and the same group who has filmed themselves leaving flyers all over town. And when the police department was contacted by the community and the news organizations about the flyers and about the presence of Nazis waving flags at the BLM marches and recruiting, all of that action was called free speech. And I'm glad that they saw this graffiti on the temple as a hate crime, because that's exactly what it is. But what we need to do is to make sure as a community we have the resources to make sure that that dangerous, albeit free speech, doesn't turn into a hate crime, because it could have been a lot worse than it actually was. And we have a real problem here in Spokane we need to address with white supremacy and people who are actively recruiting in Spokane in broad daylight, no shame. And I think that the fact that the police didn't do anything about the flyers is one of the reasons why that gentleman felt so bold as to graffiti the temple. And it's a problem that needs to be addressed not only by the police, but by the city in general. So anything you guys can do to expedite that conversation and really make some significant changes would be much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. And I just wanted to let you know, in terms of enforcing the code on the mosquito devices, if you call 311 during business hours and report the address where you are hearing those. And if you don't get satisfaction, feel free to email me about it. And I also, just to be clear, I don't want to minimize your comments about the hate crime as well. Very serious, but thanks for bringing that to our attention. Next is Andrea Rose Gallardo, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. If you could hit *3. All right. I think we have you. If you want to introduce yourself, you have up to 3 minutes.
Yes, my government name is Andrea Gallardo. Many know me as Drea Rose. I am the co-founder of MAC Movement, that's Music, Art, and Creativity Movement. I've spoken many times. This is the 4th year our organization has done a free dinner with a side of free speech, and still I have a lot to say because we still need a lot of change. I feel like once again another year has gone and another winter is passing. And Spokane officials have left us out in the bitter cold to get frostbitten and left to die. But one thing about Spokane is we are strong, but we have lost a lot along the way, and it's unfortunate. Like Alfredo and Deborah Abrahamson, when I stand up, I have a whole army of spirits behind me. Let's keep their fights going because they are important ones, and we still need to make them right. There is more Spokane homeless people than there are beds, and my auntie died of cancer because of the waters my native people are subjected to drink. Let's take down any offensive statues. I'm thankful for the recent name change of the street. Let's keep it going because the recent hate crime has me disgusted, and there's no honor in genocide. I also took a ride with my kids to Kendall Yards and talked about gentrification. I asked we make a handful of those homes low income and offer Spokane tribal members first dibs on a handful also. Those homes is built on an area that is sacred to my people, to the Spokane tribal members. It is where we fished for salmon and met with other tribes to trade. I see too many Native people when I'm on the streets when MAC Movement does our outreach, and we need to make it known we are still here and Native lives are sacred, and so do the other lives in our Spokane community. I want to shout out to Rick Clark for demonstrating how to take action so people didn't freeze, but that was just a Band-Aid on a bleeding wound. There has been a lot of funding talk, but I want to see change. I want to know, I know that we like to waste money on rocks and walking bridges, and I have some better ideas to spend our money. Thank you for your guys' time. That is all. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us this evening, Drea. We appreciate it. Next, Curtis Hampton, if you'd like to hit star 3. All right, Curtis, if you would like to introduce yourself, you have up to 3 minutes. You there, Curtis? Curtis? We can't hear you. All right. All right. Well, Curtis.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
I can now. Yes.
Fantastic.
Go ahead and introduce yourself. You have up to 3 minutes.
Okay, fantastic. Again, my name is Curtis Hampton. I want to thank the City Council for allowing me this opportunity to speak. I'm Curtis Hampton. I'm a concerned citizen and a Carl Mackey Center board member. The reason I'm here tonight is because I'm concerned about the violence in our communities. Tonight is the 4th time since October that I have personally spoken publicly about violence, and I'm sure that there are others here tonight who have had even more discussions on this topic. There has been 3 shooting fatalities since 2019 at 5th and Fisk. Those fatalities do not take into consideration the other shootings that have occurred throughout Spokane. During all of our previous meetings, we find ourselves trying to respond to a shooting after the fact. I'm not here tonight to assign blame to the police department, the young people involved, the schools, the parents, the churches, nor the neighbors. There are certainly enough fingers to point, but assigning blame does not solve this ongoing issue of violence in our city. However, I am concerned that we are not being as proactive as we could be, and therefore we may find ourselves having another meeting after another potential fatality. Forgive me if I'm not following proper protocol, but I'm concerned that we may not be developing any concrete strategies that are inclusive of the neighborhoods in which this violence is occurring. I have found that we as a community have formed task forces to address a plethora of issues. My question is, do we have a task force in place that's all-inclusive of the stakeholders from the police department to the neighbors within these neighborhoods to address this continuation of violence? If we have such a task force in place, how can we quantify the success of these teams? It is my perception, based on the conversations that I'm attempting to have, we as a community have a lot of work to do. If we do not have a record of proven success on the violence within our underserved communities, I'd like to have this discussion placed on the upcoming agenda for further exploration. If this discussion is of value and Spokane feels that it's a discussion that requires immediate attention, then these discussions should be led by impacted communities to include the police department, young folks, the schools, the parents, churches, and the neighbors. With potential school restarts on the horizon, the violence could escalate while we are still having another discussion about what to do. Remember, we are all responsible. Thank you for your sincere consideration of this request. Have a good night.
Thank you, Mr. Hampton. That brings us to the end of open forum and the end of our business this evening. We will be back next Monday at our committee meeting at 1:15 and our briefing at 3:30 and our meeting at 6 p.m. Until then, please take good care of yourself and those that you know and love, and if you can, take care of somebody else as well. We're adjourned.